The Center for Tobacco Products is utilizing the e-submitter application to collect harmful and potentially harmful constituent submissions, which is currently available to industry. This tutorial will walk you through the process of creating a harmful and potentially harmful constituent submission. To begin, you should have e-submitter installed and open on your computer. If you have not yet installed e-submitter, see the tutorials on installing e-submitter and launching and navigating the e-submitter interface prior to this tutorial. From the e-submitter welcome screen, click the Create New Submission button from your menu panel. Alternatively, you may click the New menu icon in the toolbar or from the File menu. The New Submission dialog will appear. This dialog wizard will walk you through 3 basic steps to create a new submission file. Note that you may click on the hint light bulbs at any time to view additional helpful information. The first step is to select the appropriate submission type. As mentioned in the overview tutorial, e-submitter is available for a variety of users submitting to other FDA centers in addition to the Center for Tobacco Products. For the purpose of this tutorial, you should select the harmful and potentially harmful constituent submission. Once highlighted, the description provides additional information about the selected submission type in the bottom portion of the dialog window. Scroll down to view the full description and click on any links to view additional information as desired. Once you have selected the appropriate submission type, click Next. The second step is to provide a descriptive name and file name for the submission, both of which are required fields as indicated by the blue dots. CTP does not require a particular naming convention for the submission files. Submissions should be named appropriately so that you can recognize the submission by its name to open it at a later date. For the purpose of this tutorial, we will name the submission file Harmful and Potentially Harmful Constituent Example. Additional comments about the submission is an optional field and can be used to enter any additional notes that will help you recognize the submission at a later time. This will help you recognize which submission you are working with when you view existing submission files from the Open Submission File dialog. Once you have entered a descriptive name and a file name for the submission, the third step is to click Create. You will see the progress bar on the bottom portion of the screen show that e-submitter is processing and loading the appropriate submission form. E-submitter will default to this layout view called the Simple View of the submission form. At the top of the screen you have a menu bar and a toolbar. Below there is a header bar that describes the submission name you just provided as well as the submission type which you previously selected, which in this tutorial is harmful and potentially harmful constituents. As soon as you start entering data into the submission and save it, you will notice that the last modified date and timestamp will appear. Once you have finished entering all required information and go through the packaging process, the header will also display the date and time this submission file was packaged. Below the header is a descriptor that indicates which overall section of the submission form you are in, followed by the specific screen. In this tutorial, we are in the Introduction section looking at the Overview screen. In this screen, you are provided an overview of the submission type and additional information that may help you begin compiling your submission data. It is important to read all the informational content within each screen as the subject matter experts within the Center for Tobacco Products have deemed this information helpful and important for you to read. When appropriate, links have been provided in the informational section for ease of reference. In the Overview screen, you have been provided the link to the guidance document for which this form has been created to support, as well as the links to additional information on how to complete this form. At the bottom of the screen, there is a navigational bar which allows you to click Previous, Outline View, or Next. You will only see this navigation bar when you are in the Simple View. If you are in the Expert View, you will navigate to Previous and Next screens using the appropriate buttons in the toolbar. You can toggle between the Simple and Expert View using the 2 icons located in the toolbar. Which view you remain in is a personal preference. For the purpose of this tutorial, we will remain in the Expert View. This view is particularly useful as it allows you to jump to a particular screen by double-clicking on the desired folder. While the Expert View is a useful feature, it is recommended that you move through the submission using the navigational buttons to ensure the business logic is loaded properly and you only answer questions that are pertinent to you. As we mentioned, there are business rules that are embedded within the application that change the form based on the information entered in previous sections. Click the forward arrow to proceed to the next screen. As seen in the identification screen here, there is a narrative above the question portion of the screen. This concept of displaying directions and instructions prior to asking questions is consistent throughout the form and intended to better inform the user as to how to answer the subsequent questions, so take the time to read the content. Should you need additional assistance, do not hesitate to contact the eSubmitter Help Desk via email, as the email alias is provided here. After reading the description of manufacturer and importer identification, we will answer our first question and we will select tobacco product manufacturer. As you finish entering all the information on the screen, click Next to proceed. You will note that as soon as Next is clicked, the importer folder on the left-hand side of the expert view is now disabled. This is because a business rule loaded and told the application that you do not need to fill out the importer identification screen, as you previously selected tobacco product manufacturer as your role. Here you are asked to enter the manufacturer information. There are two ways to populate the contact information. The first way is to enter information directly into the provided fields. When finished, you can click the Copy to Contact Book button in the upper right-hand corner to copy the contact information into the contact book. The information will be saved in the application so it can be used for subsequent submissions. If you had previously populated the address book through the menu bar, you can click the Copy from Contact Book, where you can select the appropriate contact from the Contact List dialog. All contact and address information is saved for reuse across submissions, so this may save you time for future submissions and ensure consistency of entering contact and address information into your submissions. As you finish entering all the information on the screen, click Next to proceed. On this screen, you are asked to enter the point of contact information for the submission. Much like the manufacturer information screen, information can be entered directly into the form or by using the contact book feature. Click Next to proceed once you have completed entering information. As seen in the instruction screen, you have now left the manufacturer and importer identification portion of the submission and are now entering the product identification portion of the submission. This screen provides a brief overview of what to expect in this section. When you come to the product identification screen, you will see that there is a set of instructions, as this is called a tabular screen. It has enhanced functionality that the previous screen did not have, which allows you, the user, to enter multiple entries. For the purpose of this screen, we will be adding multiple products. There are two ways to populate this screen. Option 1 allows you to enter data using what we call straight data entry, which is when you manually fill out each field. To begin using this method, first click the plus icon to add a new product to the submission, and a new form will be presented to enter information about the product. For the purpose of this training, we will indicate that this is a cigarette product with an other, intense, and other regimens. Be sure to indicate the other type of regimen in the subsequent field. After completing data entry of your first product, the same plus icon can be used to add additional products, or you can view a summary of all products entered so far by clicking on the List button. Option 2 allows you to use the import function, which requires Microsoft Excel and is located at the top right-hand side of the screen. For Option 2, the CTP will provide you with a pre-formatted Excel spreadsheet with built-in rules and parameters to facilitate the data collection that adheres to the requirements of the type of data needed to be collected. It depends on your preference as far as whether you use the straight data entry method or the import method. If you have a significant number of products, it may be your preference to work in the Excel document rather than the eSubmitter application. For the second and third entry, we are going to use the import data method. To access the pre-formatted Excel spreadsheet, click on the Info button, and then click on the Import Spreadsheet Template for Product Identification link to launch the spreadsheet that CTP has designed specifically for this screen. Be sure to save this Excel to a location locally on your computer, as it is currently stored on a location that can be overwritten by subsequent application releases. Once you save the Excel, you can open it and begin populating your data. Avoid changing the format of the spreadsheet, as this may interfere with importing and validation of the data. We will populate the Excel with some sample data. Note, it is important to enter data in order from left to right, as the product category will be needed to answer subsequent questions. For the purpose of this training, we will enter data for a smokeless tobacco product and a roll your own product. When you are ready to import your Excel spreadsheet, simply click the Import Data button on the top right corner of the screen next to the yellow light bulb. The Data Import dialog wizard will appear. The first step is to select the source file. Click on the Select File folder icon and the Select Import File dialog will appear. Indicate that the first row is a header row, and if this is the first time you are entering information to the screen, you can add to the existing data or replace existing data. Either option will get you the same result. Then you will see that it provides you with information about the first row of what will be imported. This screen provides a verification of the first row of data. Click Next. You will then be asked to start the data import. At any time, you are able to click Previous to navigate back through these wizards. At the final step, you will be told how many records you are importing, which in this case is 3, and if everything is done correctly, you should have no issues. If you have issues, click the Display Issues Detected During Import button to see where the errors occurred and fix them before trying to import again. As we did not have any issues with our import, we will click Done. Once you have finished entering all products, you will see all the information you provided in the list view. Click Details to review your data. You can use the up and down arrows on the upper right hand side of the screen to navigate to the previous or next products. As you navigate between the entries, you will notice that the nodes corresponding to them will enable in the left hand pane. Additionally, the cigarette filler node is enabled for all cigarette products. This indicates that additional information in that category is asked for those entries. Similar to the product identification screen, the 3 regimen, smokeless tobacco, and roll your own tobacco screens follow the same format. For these screens, you can use either the straight data entry or import data methods. Now click on the Test Laboratories node of the submission. Here you are asked to enter the address and contact information for test laboratories. There are 2 ways to populate address information. The first way is to enter information directly into the provided fields. When finished, click the Copy to Contact button in the upper right-hand corner to copy the contact information into the contact book, where it will be saved in the applications so it can be used for subsequent submissions. If you have previously populated your address book through the menu bar, click the Copy From Contact Book, where you can select the appropriate contact from the Contact List dialog. All contact and address information is saved for reuse across submissions, so this may save you time for future submissions and ensure consistency of entering contact and address information into your submissions. To enter another address, click the green plus sign. You may enter up to 500 test laboratories. As you finish entering all the information on the screen, click Next to proceed. The HPHC Quantities and Testing Information Instruction screen provides information about what you should expect in this section. Click the forward arrow to proceed to the next screen. Since the first product is still selected on the Tobacco Product Identification screen, the Cigarette Smoke Intense Regimen node is enabled for the corresponding product. You will need to enter at least 1 item for each constituent. There are 18 in total required. For the purpose of this training, we will demonstrate straight data entry for this screen. We are now done entering the 18 constituents. As you finish entering all the information on the screen, click Next to proceed. You are prompted with the Screen Navigation dialog. Select the radio button for Continue to the next screen and click OK. Since the first product is selected on the Tobacco Product Identification screen, the Cigarette Smoke Other Regimen node is enabled for the corresponding product. You will need to enter at least 1 item for each constituent. There are 18 in total required. For the purpose of this training, we will demonstrate the spreadsheet import data entry method again. Simply launch the spreadsheet from this screen and save it to a location on your computer. We will go ahead and populate the Excel with some sample data. Again, note it is important to enter all data in order from left to right, as the product category will be needed to answer subsequent questions. To populate the Excel, you will follow the same steps as we did for the product identification. For the purpose of this training, we will pre-fill the Excel spreadsheet that will be imported for the other regimen. When you're ready to import your Excel spreadsheet, first click the Detail button to ensure you're importing for the correct product, which can be seen in the green header towards the top of the screen. Once you have confirmed that you're importing for the correct product, simply click the Import Data button, which will launch the Data Import wizard. Browse to the source file, indicate that the first row is a header, and if this is the first time you're entering information in this screen, you can select to add to existing data or replace existing data. Either option will get you the same result. Then you will see that the wizard provides information about the first row of what you will be importing. This screen just provides a verification of the first row of data. Click Next. You will then be asked to start the data import. At any time, you're able to click Previous button to navigate back through the wizard. At the final step, you will be told how many records you're importing, which in this case is 3, and if everything was done correctly, you should have no issues. If you have issues, click the Display Issues Detected During Import button to see where the errors occurred and fix them before trying to import again. As we did not have any issues with our import, we will click Done. Once you have finished entering the other regimen data, you will see all the information you provided in the list view. Click the Details button to review your data. In the Details view, you can scroll through your ingredients using the up and down arrows in the upper right hand of the screen and complete file attachment questions as needed. In the list view, you can double-click on each ingredient to view it in the Detail view. Once you have finished entering all other regimen constituents for one of your cigarette smoke products, click Next to proceed. You are prompted with the Screen Navigation dialog. Select the radio button for Continue to the next screen and click OK. Since the first product is still selected on the Tobacco Product Identification screen, the cigarette filler node is enabled for the corresponding product. You will need to enter at least one item for each constituent. There are 6 in total required. For the purpose of this training, we will demonstrate the straight data entry for this screen. We are now done entering the 6 constituents. You have now left the regimen portion of the application and are now entering the details portion for the smokeless tobacco and roll your own tobacco. Navigate back up to the Tobacco Product Identification screen. Select the second item in the list corresponding to the smokeless tobacco product, enabling the smokeless tobacco node. You will need to enter at least one item for each constituent. There are 10 in total required. For the purpose of this training, we will demonstrate the spreadsheet import again. Simply launch the spreadsheet from the screen and save it to a location on your computer. We will go ahead and populate the Excel with sample data. Again, note it is important to enter all data in order from left to right, as the product category will be needed to answer subsequent questions. To populate this Excel, you would follow the same steps as we did for the product identification. For the purpose of this training, we have pre-filled Excel spreadsheets that we will import for the smokeless tobacco product constituents. When you are ready to import your Excel spreadsheet, first click the Detail button to ensure you're importing for the correct product, which can be seen in the green header towards the top of the screen. Once you have confirmed you're importing for the correct product, simply click the Import Data button, which will launch the Data Import wizard. Browse to the source file, indicate that the first row is a header row, and if this is the first time you're entering information on this screen, you can click to add existing data or replace existing data. Either option will get you the same result. Then you will see that it provides you with information about the first row of what will be imported. This screen just provides a verification of the first row of data. Click Next. You will then be asked to start the data import. At any time, you are able to click Previous to navigate back through the wizard. At the final step, you will be told how many records you're importing, and if everything was done correctly, you should have no issues. If you have issues, click the Display Issues Detected During Import button to see where the errors occurred and fix them before trying to import again. As we did not have any issues with our import, click Done. Once you have finished entering the smokeless tobacco product constituents, you will see all the information you provided in the list view. Click Details to review your data. In the Details view, you can scroll through your ingredients using the up and down arrows on the upper right hand corner of the screen and complete file attachment questions as needed. In the list view, you can double-click on each ingredient to view it in the Detail view. Once you have finished entering smokeless tobacco product constituents for one of your cigarette smoke products, navigate back up to the identification screen. Select the third item in the list, corresponding to the Roll Your Own Tobacco product, enabling the Roll Your Own Tobacco node. You will need to enter at least one item for each constituent. There are 6 in total required. For the purpose of this training, we will demonstrate straight data entry for this screen. We are now done entering the 6 constituents. You have completed entering data for this submission. When you click Next, you will see that you have reached the end of the submission, and you can now package this submission to transmit to CTP. For further details on how to package your submission, see the Packaging a Tobacco Submission Using Digital Signatures tutorial. You have now seen that eSubmitter utilizes a variety of question types to collect responses, including questions in the form of radio buttons, text fields, file attachments, or drop-down pick lists in an effort to facilitate ease of data entry. Should you need additional assistance, do not hesitate to contact the eSubmitter help desk via email or phone to help get you started using eSubmitter.